Welcome to Rauta. This video is done in commercial collaboration with our sponsor, Steelfest. Hails and welcome to Rauta. This time we have a Greek black metal band, Adventum Diaboli, here for review. And those of you who have been following the scene or black metal in general for quite a bit know that Greek scene is actually one of the oldest ones when it comes to black metal. I mean, a lot of those bands started at least by the late 90s, early 90s or even late 80s. So pretty much roughly when things were shaping up in the Nordic countries. So people who think that Norwegians invented black metal and the like are kind of missing out the whole thing. But of course, a lot of more informed people know all about it, and this should come to you as no news. So this is a third chapter by the band of this whole trilogy, and this is CDR copy, as you can see. Technically speaking, it's released under label, but it seems more like a self-financed thing overall. I'm not saying it looks bad or anything, it just gives me, because of the CDR, a bit like feeling like this was financed by the band, and as such it seems like not so much a label-driven thing. This could be totally good or bad both ways, depending how you want to think about it, how you feel about it, and all that stuff. Now, unlike so many of those Greek bands, which I keep mentioning about the brief history of it, this one is a lot newer band, founded in 2011. So compared to bands like, Rolling Christ, Varatron, Necromantia, Zemial, and so forth, which have been there for like decades by now. This one has been there only for mere 10 years. However, this doesn't mean inactivity or anything, like only a couple of albums out, but actually quite few. So if you take a look at this Metal Archives background here, you can see there are plenty of albums already out, and on top of that, splits, EPs, singles, compilations, you name it. And since demos got out like early 2013, and this marks the 20th anniversary or so for the band's recorded material. Now, briefly before or quickly before I got this CD from the band itself for review, I was informed about some lineup changes which I then made here on Metal Archive site. That is, currently there's only one member, Leviathan, in the band, but as I was asking for an updated band photo, just one man versus two guys here, which seems to feature past members, not available. So let's just go with it is how it is. And like I said, the last few years the band has been very, very active. Like since 2017, there has been more than one release basically every year, except for 2019 and 2020, curiously enough. But by 2022, two different releases, and 2022, three different releases. However, this trilogy, which I'm not gonna even try to pronounce, my Greek letters understanding and reading it is not exactly right there. Anyhow, this is the third part called Dystopia, and for the background I just gave a brief listen for the first two albums in this trilogy so that I could see how the things are shaping up and being compared. Now pretty much it all sounds like these were done in the same setting, with the same feeling and time and place and all that stuff, because there's not too much change or diversity with different releases. However, I only gave one listen to the first and second chapters, so it's not like I can really dissect and do proper comparison. After all, this is all about this particular release here what we are talking about, and this comes in a very, very traditional shape. I mean, 40 plus minutes, 10 songs, you get it. I mean, whenever we're talking about kind of a typical metal release, it often falls between 40, 50 minutes and 10 songs, give or take. So in those terms, this is a very, very traditional and not so original way to do it. But then again, it's something like time has tested this format. You don't really get bored with 42 minutes unless the music is really crappy, and it is way more than just an MCD of sorts. But what is the music like? Well, this is very, very Greek sounding black metal, both good and bad. Good in the terms that if you like Greek black metal, being one of those mentioned names that I mentioned previously, especially things like Varatron or Ring Christ or last Yoth Iria, which is kind of a Rotting Christ spin-off in so many ways. So in those respects, this doesn't really, make a difference. It's not creating anything new in terms of Greek black metal, much like Ravencall did when they came out with their albums. A lovely band, by the way, but this is very, very much sounding like the kind of a warm Greek style of black metal. It's at the same time melodic and soft, and even some good mood stuff. But there are parts where this sounds more like Greek version of Burzum. This might sound a little bit odd, but if you really think about it, Burzum material is not that far-fetched. I mean, it's maybe unpolished in terms of sound if we're talking about old Burzum, that is. But then again, the riffs are actually something that really could work in the Greek setting, if you will. And that's why this album is actually pretty good. Because the thing here is, while this is not that much of a memorable album, the whole atmosphere kind of reeks, in a positive way that is, the Greek atmosphere. It's much like if you travel to Mediterranean, which I can totally recommend, by the way, been there multiple times. Mediterranean atmosphere is very, very much present here. It's kind of a warm and welcoming, much like Greek people. They're lovely people. I've met many in the metal scene and all great people. So in that sense, it kind of is very, very Greek-like. However, if you're looking for some kind of a Nordic grimness, the cold, icy, filled with anger and hatred and all that stuff, well, then you're looking for a wrong band. What it is making, in fact, Greek black metal fascinating because it's so different from the Nordic ones, Norwegian, Finnish, Swedish, etc. So there's nothing about being grim and frosty and icy and dark. It's more like, hey, come to a Mediterranean island, you will have the life here, good food, good people, and you will get the wind in your hair, feel the passion of the history and everything. It's like that. Some people, no go. For a lot of people, yes go. So all I'm saying is Adventum Diaboli is one of those bands you probably should be checking out right now, or at the very least right after this review. It's not the best out of the Mediterranean or Greek scene, but definitely a worthy addition to the whole scene out there. So an interesting band and making good music. So what can I say? Click and start listening. You will find links provided in the description box. And once again, should you have any comments or questions, just let me know and put your comment there in the comments box. See you, and I hope you enjoy some Adventum Diaboli. Until next time, bye bye.